Whether you're developing an application on your own or if you were working for an organization building out an application, we always think that it's going to be a successful product that has thousands of users. And there's really three paths that we can go down. We can just develop the application like we have here, and it's great. If we refresh the page, it loads almost instantaneous, and we're happy with the results. And the other path, on the other extreme that we can go down, is that we can prematurely optimize our application. We think that it is going to have such high traffic that we start leveraging in a lot of techniques that aren't necessarily bad, but they add a lot of initial complexity. And a lot of times that could be caching or introducing some kind of full text search engine like Elasticsearch or other kind of optimizations. And while those aren't necessarily bad, if we build out our application with those from the start, it can add a lot of complexity and unnecessarily. And then the middle path is where we aren't prematurely optimizing, but we are making just good development choices for a healthy user experience. That can be stuff like pagination, proper indexes on our database, or eager loading data. And so for this example application, it seems to be working really well, and we refresh the page and it loads in under 100 milliseconds. And there's not been any optimizations done on this application. We just developed it without any kind of optimization in mind. And so that's one of the first points here. And so the first point here is that as we're developing our application, especially if we have some kind of pagination or a dashboard or anything else, you want to work with more than just a few records. This shouldn't be hard if you have a seeds file that you can inject in many records. And in my case, my seeds file, I have an attribute that determines how many records we're going to create. And that's extremely helpful in the situations where, as I'm normally developing, I want my application to respond really quick so I can iterate quickly as well. But then I'll do some local stress testing. So in this case, I just seeded in 1000 records, I'll refresh the page, and I'm noticing it's taking a lot longer. And so it pulled in all 1000 products without any kind of pagination, and also 1000 recent orders, and so forth. And so this took significantly longer. It took about 4 seconds for this page to load because it had to render so much data. So not only did we have some issues with the amount of data that we were displaying on the page, which does not give a good user experience, if this were to grow to 10,000 or 100,000 records, then this page basically just wouldn't load, and it would most likely eventually time out. So as we're developing, we need to make sure that whatever kind of records we have in production, we want to test with more than that so we can expose some performance issues in our application. And so starting off with this application, on our dashboard, we're grabbing all of the products, all the orders, all the reviews, and all the vendors. We could grab all of these in descending order and then just limit the 10 most recent ones. And when we come back and refresh our page, that looks good, and it seems to be running much quicker, even though we have 1000 products. But there are some issues with this as well, because now it shows that we only have 10 products, when in reality we have 1000. However, our page does load much faster now, and we may call that done. But if we scroll up and look at the request, we'll see that there is still many N+1 queries going on. So from the initial request, there are just so many queries going on, and we can see all the different places where these queries are happening. And while ideally, we would want to get rid of most of these, there is an idea of being good enough. And honestly, being able to solve these N+1 queries usually isn't too hard, but it can be overwhelming. And that's where something like the bullet gem can help expose some of those issues. But we're going to have a look at a different gem today, which does have some pretty neat boasts, where it can auto-detect the N+1 queries with 0 false positives or false negatives. And so let's add this into our gem file, where we can do a bundle, add the Prosopite gem. And then let's enable it globally, where we can do an unless our Rails environment is production. We'll have an around action, And the documentation, just call this the N+1 detection. And then we'll define that method. And then we'll call the prosopite.scan will yield, and then ensure the prosopite.finish. And we also need to add the Pg_query gem. And there's one more thing we have to do. Under the config in our development environment, we can add a config.after_initialize. We'll create a block where we then call the prosopite Rails_logger, and we'll set that equal to true. We then start up our Rails application. We'll come back to our dashboard. We'll refresh the page, and then we'll have a look at our logs, and we see it's a little bit different now. So scrolling up, we still have our normal request with all the N+1 queries, and they seem to be grouped together now, which is really nice because reading through the logs, or in situations where we have multiple requests happening on a dashboard because of turbo frame tags or whatever other situation, having those grouped together would be really nice. And so to address the N+1 queries, there's a few things that we would have to do. On the product, we can do an includes, and we're calling the vendor name. So we can include the vendor, the category, and also the reviews. On the order, we can include the customer, the order items, because we do need to include from the order items the product. And on the reviews, we just need to include the customer and also the product. And for the vendor, if we include the products and also the order items. And so let's go ahead and save these changes. We'll come back, refresh the page, and it still loads really fast. But before, we were loading in about 182 milliseconds, and now it's cut down to 54. So that was a significant decrease, but there are still some N+1 queries. If we were to go back and get rid of these limits to just load in all the records, it still takes a long time to render, but if we look at our logs, you'll see that it's still rendered in under 1 second. And a lot of that was the view. So always be sure, especially if you're working on performance issues, that you're reading the logs because they will give you some idea of where there's potential optimizations. In this case, we could improve the active record querying, but we're only going to get marginal gains there. Our real issue, and where most of the time it was spent, was rendering the view. So yes, while we could reduce the number of queries that we're rendering, that's not going to be our biggest bang for the buck in speeding up this page, especially if we're wanting to view all the records. So that's where we need to do something like add in some kind of pagination gem. So we can add in a gem. It doesn't matter which one you use. You can use Kaminari, Will Paginate, or the Pagy gem. I'm just going to add in Pagy, even though I find this one to be a little bit annoying sometimes because of how fast it iterates in its changes. But based on the claims, it does appear to be the fastest one. And so adding this in has become a bit more simple over the years, where we just need to include the Pagy : method in the application controller, and in the dashboard, we can still have our instance variables, but we need to set something like the Pagy, our products, orders, reviews, and vendors, and then our instance variable for the products, orders, reviews, and vendors, and call the Pagy. We need to determine what technique we're going to use. We'll just say the offset, and then we'll put in our query. We can start up our Rails application, come back, and now by default it's showing 20 records, and this is now loading in under 100 milliseconds, with now the view taking 69 milliseconds to render, and the active record is extremely fast. Even though we still have some N+1 queries on summing up the reviews and the count of our products. And so before I reseed the database with more records, I do want to do one last thing here, and that is to include the pagination. So on the products, after the table, we can add in the ERB, making sure that we put in 2 equals. We can call our Pagy_products, and then we can call the series nav. I am using Tailwind, so by default, I don't think there is a styling, but with this, we then come back, refresh our page, and then we have some pagination We can click through these, and it's a little bit annoying because as we click through them, it is jumping the page, and that's not exactly the experience we want, especially because it's re-rendering the entire page. So to address that, we could include a turbo frame tag for our products. We'll create a block, and then everything within there will have the table and also our pagination, which it's up to you on where you want to do this. If you want to do it on the complete outside, you can, or if you want it to be just the data, you can do that as well. It's really up to you on how you want that to look. And so now as we do the pagination, it's going to feel quicker because it's not having to re-render the entire page. So even if we aren't getting some performance benefits on the server side, on the user experience, it is going to be a much better experience. But we still have some issues with our N+1 queries, specifically on our counts of the reviews and then the sum of the reviews. And so for the count, that is happening on our dashboard index around line 37. So we can go down there and we see that we have our product reviews count. While that's not necessarily wrong, I think this is going to issue a separate query, whereas if we call size, it's going to use what was already eager loaded. So if we come back and refresh, our data is still accurate. And now for that request, we just have this one issue with the sum. And this one can be a little bit trickier. It is happening on line 32. And so this product reviews sum rating, we've already eager loaded our product reviews. But just calling the .sum one here will issue a SQL sum bypassing the eager loaded reviews. So to fix this, we could actually just put an N% to run the sum over Ruby with the already loaded collection. So if we come back and refresh now, still loads fast. And if we look at our logs, now we've gotten rid of all the N+1 queries. We are still making several queries, but they are eager loading in the data, and this is much, much faster. And as we develop out our application, it's inevitable that we are going to introduce other N+1 queries. And so here we have a similar one for the products, which we can just call the .size on there as well to address that issue. And coming back and refreshing, we got rid of that N+1 query as well. But you can see that before we had 41 queries and it took about 50 milliseconds. Afterwards, we had 21 queries, so a little bit less load on the database, but our speed increased while a significant percentage, 34 milliseconds versus 44, is really negligible to the human perception. So while we did take some load off the server and our database server, and that was a cheap fix, if it was a much more complicated fix that took us hours to identify and address without introducing any additional bugs, it probably would have been worth it to just leave in that N+1 query. So we have to make sure that as we are developing, we are putting our focus on the things that will actually make a larger benefit. Adding in the pagination and doing the eager loading were definitely our biggest payoffs. But even just adding in pagination alone, if we didn't eager load our data, if we come back to our application and refresh the page, it's still loaded incredibly fast. So even with 1,000 records or 10,000 records, it was really quick. And this probably would have lasted us several years without adding in any kind of eager loading before it became an actual problem. And so while I would want to fix that because as our number of users increase, this kind of non-eager loading will have a compounded effect, and it's a really cheap win. It makes sense to do that. I wouldn't consider that premature optimization, neither adding in pagination, because those are real measurable benefits that we can get for little effort. And while this application is not a good example of it, another thing that really affects performance, and I've covered this in the past, is missing indexes. And so in our schema file, I do have indexes on the order items, the orders, and the products, the reviews. And so all of that is set up correctly, and we don't have any performance opportunities by adding more indexes. But I'm going to go into the Rails console, and I'm going to do something that you should never do. And that is, I'm going to remove those indexes manually within the console. You should never do that because our migration and our schemas are the source of truth for the structure of our database. And now I've just altered that in my development environment. But I'm doing that just so we can look at what it's going to do to our queries. So we were doing about 34 milliseconds before. And because we have such small data here, we don't see that big of a difference. It loaded in 39 milliseconds, again in 40, 39, 38, 35. So it looks like it's really hitting about the same. So we don't have enough data in our database to really measure if we have a problem going on. But in our seeds file, I can take this from 1,000 records to 1 million records, and I can reseed the database. And this should be enough to where we will start seeing some tangible differences. And I'm going to fast forward because even on a quick computer, this is going to take a significant amount of time to load in and seed all of this data. And so, with all that data added in, let's come back to our application, refresh the page, and we can see that now it took 655 milliseconds. So with a lot more data, we see that the view rendered extremely quick, but the active record now, even though we only had 21 queries, took a significant amount of time. And so whenever you see something like this, we know that there's nothing that we can really do in the view to increase the speed. We could add some caching on our view, but that really wouldn't be the proper optimization here because while that would reduce the number of queries we're making on the database side, that's not really the core issue. And so again, what I'm going to do is go into the Rails console and I'm going to add in those indexes again. Again, you never want to do this. You want your migration to be responsible for adding in indexes or removing them. But if you're just trying to figure out what kind of performance difference you can get from adding in a migration, then this could be a neat way to do it in your development environment, especially if you're able to reproduce that issue. But we can come back, refresh our page now, and just by adding in those indexes, we still had the same number of queries, but it's now happening in only 12 milliseconds instead of 600. So whenever you see this active record being really high, that's usually going to be some kind of missing index or missing eager load. Again, if we were to just not eager load our data and refresh the page, you'll see that we had a lot of queries and some of them were cached, and this did take a little bit longer, but the missing indexes was really the key. I've had some pages which took 60 seconds or more to load because there were missing indexes. It took a little bit of time, and there were many different ways that I could have gone about addressing that issue. We could have used turbo frame tags to split up that load so the page would load quickly, but then the other requests would lazy load in, and that would give the appearance that it's working faster. But in reality, the missing indexes was the key issue. So our goal isn't to hit sub 100 milliseconds on our pages, it's to have things properly structured and optimized so that we aren't having to vertically scale up or horizontally scale before we need to, and drawing that fine line between premature optimization and good practices. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. For more videos, check out driftandruby.com.